Good morning. Yesterday, I did a painting of coffee. Today, it's tea. Today, I want to show you how I painted this tea kettle and teacup sitting on a table outdoors. I kind of like the idea of having the morning beverage outside. So the real challenge here was the metallic finish of the teapot and somewhat the reflective finish of the teacup. So I'll show you how I did that. Plus I have a poem by Carol Ann Duffy, who's a contemporary poet. She's in our time. In fact, she was born the same year as me, 1955. I think she lives in Scotland. But her poem is called Appropriately Enough Tea. And I'll show you how I did the picture of tea right now. All right, well, let's start with the pencil. Let's start with the teapot. But let's see, how big do we want it? We want it, let's try to figure this out before we do too much here. Just try to gauge it, I guess about there. I guess about there will be our teapot, right there. Yeah, it's happening. Just a simple teapot. Go ahead, make that round over there, and then flatten it up here. There we go. There's a rounded teapot. Then we put our lid on it for our spot of tea. A spot of tea. Try to say it the way they say it in the movies, or maybe in England. I've never been to England, so I don't know. But they always say spot of tea. A spot of tea. I always wondered when America was started. We came from England mostly, I guess, in the beginning, and some of those things that are traditionally associated with being English were abandoned, like the daily spot of tea. Right? We stopped doing that. Although a lot of people do it now. In fact, I went through a period when I didn't drink much coffee because the doctor told me to stay away from caffeine, and I know all tea doesn't have caffeine. Some tea has caffeine. Anyway, I'm not an expert on this subject, but all I know was I was drinking tea for a while. and it wasn't bad. The funny thing about tea is that it has so many different varieties. They have the black pico or orange pico, whatever that's called, and then they have the chamomile and all those other herbal teas, and people sometimes make their own, right? They go out in the garden and pick herbs or whatever, and they make their own tea. Yeah, I wouldn't do that because I would mess up. I would definitely mess up. I'd be poisoning myself or something. Unintentionally, of course. Yeah, so anyway, it's Sunday afternoon. I had a drive this morning. I had to go to the airport. I'm going to the airport an awful lot lately, but I think I'll have one more airport trip on. But I haven't flown anywhere. I'm just driving people to and from the airport. There's a little handle here for the tea giver. There's a little something there, and then a little spout. I am a teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle. Here is my spout. That's not the poem I'm going to read to you today. That's the one I remember from, I guess, from when I was a kid. To Did we used to pantomime that? Is that what you call it? Did we used to act that one out with our hands and our posture and all that? Well, there's our teapot. What do you think? And it's way off to the side, so let's balance out this picture with a teacup. Put the teacup right here. Teacup, and give it a bowl shape also. Give this teacup a bowl shape. I want to try and do, well, you already know if I succeeded at this, but I want to try and do a metallic teapot. See if I can pull off the metallic look. That's often a challenge, is getting that metallic look to look metallic. Getting metallic things to look metallic. I know the teapot is ceramic, but let's put the handle over here. People are very particular about their tea. It's something everybody has an opinion on. Oh, I remember an episode of comedians in cars getting coffee. And Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David went out for coffee, and Larry got tea instead. And Jerry was saying, "Why would you get tea when this is supposed to be a coffee?" And Larry was saying, "Well, what difference does it make?" It was funny. Those two guys are funny. It's good to find funny. You know what? I truly think sometimes it's good to find funny. It just sometimes makes you realize the world isn't as bad sometimes when your world is not so good, and you just say, well, you know, I can watch something funny, and what's funny to you might not be the same as what's funny to me, so I can't recommend something. But Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David I always found them funny. I like the Friends TV show, Friends. I like that one. Those guys were always funny. Those young men and women. You know, I didn't watch that show until after it was over. And Robin was the main reason I watched it, because she was a big fan of it. All right, we have our teapot and our teacup, and now we're gonna try to make. Oh, I got my jar of water here. It's an old jelly jar, an old strawberry jelly jar. Well, that's appropriate. Doesn't tea and toast go together? Doesn't tea and toast? What was I gonna say? Tea and toast go together. Oh yeah, and toast and jelly go together. Okay, that's where my mind was going. That's a crazy thought. All right, let's get this background first. I'm going to use just as much green as I can, and then I will go back over it. And I'm doing wet on dry because I don't really see a need to do a whole lot of watercolory things. It's watercolor paint, and it's going to do watercolory things no matter what I do. It always behaves its own way. But I just want to get some greens in here because I want this to be outdoors. Just like the last picture I did was coffee, and so I'm giving equal time. The coffee and the tea get equal time. Gosh, this is making me want to get a cup of tea. I'm a big iced tea fan. I love iced tea. Yeah, I should have iced tea more often. See, it's another thing I sort of stopped because of the doctor. But I think I'm wrong. I don't think iced tea can be that. I should ask him. But, you know, he kind of scared me. You know, telling me not to have caffeine. What he said was limit your amount of caffeine. So I've been kind of avoiding it completely. But probably overdoing it. The poet I want to read to you from today is Carol Ann Duffy. I'll read her poem. The poem is called Tea. And she is almost the same age as me. I'm a little bit older than her. She was born in December of 1955. And I was born in February of that year. And she was born, I think it said in Scotland. I'll find it when I read the poem. So I like when I see that somebody who had a passion for something is recognized for that thing, whatever it might be. And her passion was for writing. I've read a little bit about her, so that's how I know that. See, the watercolor is doing its thing, and in a way that's really working, because the background is, I want it to be like a blurred out garden, like there's a garden in the back, and the sun is going to be shining brightly on the teapot and the cup. So I think the challenge with this one is the metallic surface of the teapot and the reflective surface of the cup. Let's see if we can pull that off. Alright, let's get some of this down here. Gonna get this just a yellow-green table here. Try to get some yellow down here. Here we go. What is that color? What is that color? Oh, is that dark blue? It might be dark blue. That'll work for the shadow. Just gonna put the shadow in there. I'm kind of doing things backwards this time, just getting the main focal point of this whole picture is the teapot and the teacup. The teapot and the teacup. There we go. Maybe I can put a little bit of color on the teapot right there. The teapot, yes. Gotta make sure I don't confuse the teapot with the tea kettle. Just keep my mind straight here. Alright, let's get some more of this color here. So, how you doing? Are you doing okay? I've been reading the comments that you've been leaving. I appreciate them. What was the one question somebody asked me? I have to think of what it was. I had a few questions people asked me. I've been answering them on the YouTube page, whatever you call that thing, YouTube channel. I've been answering them there, but I was going to repeat it here, and now I forgot what it was. So, yeah, it just kind of make some happy accidents, as Bob Ross used to say. Put some stuff in there that'll be happy accidents. All right, let's get a little bit more darkness here behind the teapot. Keep it very smooth. Smooth operator. Keep it very smooth. I think the secret to this particular composition is going to be the contrast. So today when I went to the airport, I did not go into the airport because the people I drove to the airport didn't really need me to help them with anything. There was 3 of them, and so all I had to do was drop them off at the departure door or gate or whatever you call that, the departure area, and that was nice. Although I do like going inside the airport, it's kind of fun, makes me feel like I'm going someplace, even though I'm not going anywhere. I used to like going to the little shop at the airport when I would pick somebody up. I'd get there early. I'd always get to the airport early. Tuesday morning I gotta go again, and I will go early. And one thing I used to get that I won't be getting because of my orders not to have coffee, or caffeinated coffee. And what that thing was the chocolate covered coffee beans. Have you ever had them? They're not for everybody, and I'll be honest with you, the first time I had them I was like, oh, I'm never going to get these again. But I didn't tell myself the truth with that, because I did get them again. And I kind of like them, but they probably are loaded with caffeine, so I'm not going to go back to them. No, not supposed to. I'm supposed to stay away. Stay away from caffeine, Larry. Do yourself a favor. Stay away from caffeine. That's the message. Stay away. Do you know what? I started to say this, I think, in yesterday's video, and I just don't think I finished saying it, that tomorrow is July 1st. That's not what I was going to say. But what I was going to say is the beginning of July is when you really should start thinking about if you're going to be doing artwork for the holidays, like for Christmas. Yeah, tomorrow's the day to start. I know it sounds weird, but that's what it is, because it takes a long time. I mean, unless you only have like one person that you're painting a card for, then I would say it doesn't really matter when you start. But for me, I like to start early, and then and I also was going to tell you that Robin is going to show you how she decorates the cards after they're painted. She puts sparkle on them. She gets them all sparkly. I'm probably going to use some gouache over here. I think I want to use some light yellow right there to create the look of flowers. So I'll be doing that. Try to get some of these dark areas here now. And then the big challenge of getting the metallic look on the teapot. So what else do you do? So what else have I done? I'll tell you something I tried one time. I don't know why this just came to mind, but I tried doing audiobooks. I know. The crazy thing about doing audiobooks was, okay, so I voiced audiobooks, and every once in a while I get a little royalty check from them, which I guess that's the only reason I did them. I didn't feel like it was very creative. It's creative for the writer, but if you're not the writer, you're just reading it. And if you have a creative personality, and I think you do, I've spoken, or I haven't spoken to any of you, but I've read what you've written, and it sounds like you are a very creative group of people. And so you know what I'm talking about when I say if you are a creative person, you don't want to be the one who is implementing the reproduction of something. it's easier. It's more. You're more inclined to create the thing than to recreate the thing. Does that fit how you feel? You feel that way? You're more likely to want to create the thing. That's how I feel too. I'd rather create the thing than recreate the thing. Yeah, there's our background, I think, except I want some yellow over there. I'll do that when that dries. So right now, we are ready to begin the challenge. The challenge. Let me put a little bit more depth over here. Because I want that teapot to be somewhat reflective on the table also. There we go. Kind of a little bit of a mess, but it's got that watercolor look, and I kind of like that. And I'm going to use the gouache over here. I'm very confident I will be doing that. But now I have to let that dry. So let me read to you the poem. This is by Carol Ann Duffy. And Carol Ann Duffy was born December 23rd, 1955. Wow, she's practically a Christmas baby. Here's what she writes. I like pouring your tea, lifting the heavy pot and tipping it up, so the fragrant liquid streams in your china cup. Or when you're away or at work, I like to think of your cupped hands as you sip of the faint half smile of your lips. I like the questions, sugar, milk, and the answers I don't know by heart yet. For I see your soul in your eyes, and I forget. Jasmine, gunpowder, Assam, Earl Grey, Ceylon. I love tea's names. Which tea would you like? I say. But it says any tea for you, please, any time of day. As the women harvest the slopes for the sweetest leaves on Mount Wu Yai, and I am your lover, smitten, straining your tea. That's pretty. Dame Carol Ann Duffy is a professor of contemporary poetry at Manchester Metropolitan University, and she was appointed Poet Laureate in May 2009. Her term expired in 2019. She was the first female poet, the first Scottish-born poet, and the first openly lesbian poet to hold the Poet Laureate position. Oh, what do you know about that? Anyway, it's a pretty poem. I think it speaks to friendship. I think that's what a cup of tea is. A cup of tea. That's what it is. And a cup of coffee. I think sharing a beverage is about friendship. What do you think? All right, we're diving in now. We're diving in. I'm going to try to make this look reflective. See how we do. I'm kind of spread this out a little bit. See how we go here. This is a challenge. This is a very, very challenging picture. Yes, this has a lot of yellows and oranges, and in order to create that look of gold, You know? That look of gold. It's a little bit wet over this. I still got to be careful. Yeah, that yellow and that orange can blend together with each other. It's okay. A little bit more yellow here and here. Now let's get some. What color is this? Gotta let that dry. What color is that? Oh, that's a good one. That's like a brown. That's good. That'll work. Yeah, this brown is this is a challenge. I really have to pay attention to all the little reflective things. See if we can pull this off. Make this happen. Make Carol Ann Duffy proud. I don't know if she was thinking of this kind of a teapot. Maybe she was. Gotta wait for that to dry before I do anything over there. Some green in here too, reflecting off the things in the background. A lot of traffic out there today. Not really a lot because it's Sunday, but it's still like I just heard a car or a motorcycle or something going down the road. Well, the question as to whether this looks metallic when I'm done is not answered yet. I'm not sure if it's going to look metallic. Let's try. Right now it looks a mess, right? Try to keep this a little bit light here. Bit of blue over here. I think one of the things about doing metallic things is that they reflect, especially if it has a rounded surface, they reflect the sky a lot more than you realize. Like when you're looking at chrome on a car, It is doing the same thing. It's reflecting the sky. Yeah, I'm kind of nervous right now about being able to pull this off, because I don't know that I am pulling it off. Not really well. Not yet. Never give up. Just keep working it. Some of this dark here. It doesn't look reflective yet. It's not happening yet. I don't see it happening yet. Keep trying. Keep trying. Make this more yellow. almost look metallic and reflective. I don't know if I'm doing it or not. I'm trying to keep looking at it. It's almost looking reflective. What do you think? I don't know that I made it look gold, but it looks reflective. It looks like it's reflecting a lot of what's going on around it. I'll make this a little bit more watercolor-y over here. I don't know. What do you think? It's sort of looking like it, I guess. I guess it sort of has that reflective look to it. Well, I said I was going to put some gouache on here, and I am, because there's no way I can get those orange flowers, those yellow flowers on here without doing that. And I definitely want those flowers on here. Alright, so there's our reflective teapot. I guess I did it. I don't know. I'm not really sure. Hold on, we'll turn the camera off and I'll be right back. Alright, I got a couple of tubes of gouache. And I guess I'm okay with it. I'm not really sure if I like it or not, but maybe a little bit more darkness under here. Maybe this should be more reflecting of the background at this point. Just a little bit more. I don't know, maybe I'm fussing with it too much. I kind of like that, the way it looks. See, it's reflecting the trees and everything in the background, but it's all warped because of the shape of the teapot. All right, so I got my white gouache, I got some lemon yellow, and I got some, what do they call this? Yellow medium. I call it orange. What is this one called? Orange yellow. Okay, so what I want to do, I think I just want to create, I just want some flowers right here. I feel like it's a lopsided composition. It needs a little bit of brightness over here. So I'm just gonna get some of this yellow here. Just kind of put some flowers over here. Just go ahead and dab it in there, and I'll add some orange to it a little bit. Just a few here and there. Let's get some of that orange in here. Or what they're calling medium yellow. The label says medium yellow. And then I'll put some orange in there after that. Just to create some shadows in the flowers themselves. And then I'll put some white on it also to put some bright spots. If you're gonna have a cup of tea in the garden, you need a few flowers in the garden, right? Having a cup of tea. See, I really think that adds to the composition. It doesn't help the teapot at all, but the teapot's not bad. Maybe the teapot would be better if I darkened the background. Where's the one that said orange? That one says vermilion. This one says orange, right? Let's see. Yeah, maybe the background should be darker, and maybe that would bring out the reflective surface of the teapot better. All right, let's put some of this on here, and then I'll try adding some white to it, and then I'm going to add some darkness to the background. I think that's what I want to do. Some flowers in the background here and over here. All right, let's add some white to that. I think that's going to be the secret here. I think the adding darkness to the background. So I feel like I didn't say much in this video. You don't mind, right? I find some pretty music and I'll put it on there. That pretty music is really good. I like that pretty music. Yeah, just a little bit of white on some of these flowers. And now at this point, this is more like acrylic, like when you use gouache like this. I think it looks more like acrylic paint than watercolor, but I don't mind. I've said this before, just for the sake of those who might be entering a contest, because I don't enter contests, so I don't care, and nobody really cares. When you get a painting, you just want the painting, right? So, but sometimes the contest rules say no mixed medium, or mixed media, however they word it. So you can't, I think you can't even use like pencil as a pre-sketch. I don't really know the rules. But that's what I was told anyway. I was told that if you want to enter a watercolor into a watercolor contest, it has to be completely watercolor. All right, there we go. There's our flowers off to the side. Now I'm going to try my idea of making it a little bit darker. I just hope I don't mess it up. Let's try. Let's just give it a little bit more darkness back there. Maybe it doesn't have to be like completely painted, maybe just enough to make it stand out. What do you think? Is that helping? Spread it out a little bit. Put it on both sides of this. The teapot handle. Not the hand. Well, the handle too. Yeah, the handle. Probably could use a little bit of that too. I'm a little teapot. Short and stout. Well, I'm not short. I am stout though. Oh boy. I know, I'm trying. It's another thing the doctor tells me I have to work on. Oh well, that's what doctors are for, right? By the way, speaking of making cards and people who are in the service industry, I mean, do you call a doctor in the service industry? I don't know. He's serving me. He's servicing me. Is that the right word? I don't know. But it is nice to give a card to people who've worked with you in that regard, you know. I think so. They seem to like them. When Robin and I did a children's book a couple of years ago, I brought the books into the office, the doctor's office, and boy, they loved them. And I didn't even know that one of the girls was going to have a baby, and she was so looking forward to having the baby, and she was so grateful for the book, and I was so sweet. Oh, and speaking of books, I'm working on a illustration. I'm not supposed to show you guys these things, so I can't show you the art I'm working on for the publisher, but it's kind of a nice one. This guy's the author has some nice ideas, and I like what he has written, and so it's kind of fun to do the art for him for his book. I wish I could show it to you. Maybe when it's done I'll ask him. Actually, I talked to the publisher. Well, I talked to Robin, and Robin talks to the publisher. That's really how it works. I don't think I've ever spoken to the publisher one time. I've exchanged emails with the publisher. But it's a very professional thing. Everything's secretive, and everything's what do I want to say? Everything is like you have so many rules you have to abide by. It's kind of why I like doing these, because I don't have any rules. I just do what I want to do. Yeah, I get it wrong. If I mess up, I throw it away. Although if I mess up, I do show you. I did make that commitment to you guys. There, I think we have our pot and our cup. I think we have it done. Let me just spread some of this black around here so it doesn't look so I don't know what. So what? I don't know what I meant to say there. All right, let me clean that brush before I forget. Because if you let gouache dry on a brush, it will stiffen it up. You can let watercolor dry on a brush to a certain extent, although that's not a good idea either. But if you forget, like overnight or something, or so if you get a phone call and you walk away and you forgot you did that, watercolor can wash out of a brush, but gouache sometimes is hard. Acrylic is impossible. Don't let acrylic ever dry on a brush. You might as well throw that brush away. Or use it as a toothpick. Yeah, I think I like that darker background there. I think it'll look better once I fold the card too. Right now I'm just making a mess on the background too, because that's what I always do. I always make a mess. It's my My daily abstract painting is on the back of the cards. All right, there we go. I think our teapot and our cup of tea is done. What do you think? Maybe a little bit more darkness right there. All right, now let me let it dry, and I'll be right back. All right, it's dry. Let's fold it now. And folding is going to be very helpful because then you won't have that look behind the card, because this is the real composition right here. I kind of like it. It is not what I imagined when I started, but I kind of like it. I'm glad I did that darker background. I think it helps, especially with that little handle thing there. Yeah, it's got that watercolor look. I kind of like the way the sky is reflecting into the top of the tea kettle. And I definitely like the flowers on the side, even though they're it's gouache, but it looks like acrylic a little bit, but that's okay. That's the way it is. Yes, it won't win any prizes, but it is what it is, kids. All right, I think I'm gonna say goodbye. I'll see you or talk to you tomorrow, okay? Thank you for watching and subscribing, and please share if you know any artists who might be interested in this kind of a channel. It's probably not the most exciting channel out there. I know it's not, but hey, it's what I do, and I love the fact that you join me for these videos. All right, talk to you later. Bye.